Again, everybody, it's Harry Boxer, the Technical Trader at thetechtrader.com. It's Thursday, August the 1st. These are the charts of the day. Well, volatile day indeed on Wall Street. Markets were all over the place, mostly down and down sharply. Did try to recover late in the day, but really to no avail. I don't see a major rally in the market just yet until we get more extremely oversold and a higher VIX, perhaps, but we'll see. Right now, looking at some stocks that did well today, Aerojet rocketed out of a flag today and exploded for 508 or 11.7%. 3.1 million was the biggest volume in 3 months, so this may be significant. But looking at the long-term chart, the rising channel top, unless this thing accelerates and does get up in that 55-60 zone, that would be my target. Just keep your stops in place on this one. Cirrus Logic with strong report exploded out of a base pattern like a inverse head and shoulders with a upsloping neckline. For me, the target could easily be upwards of 65.70 if it follows through. It was a big day today, running from 48.67 to 60 before settling back up 7.76 at 57.08 on 4.5 million. Nice action, but we'll see whether this gets a follow through. It did take out a resistance level and then backed off to it. For me, the next target has to be upwards of about 66 and 72. Those are my targets going forward if this follows through. ENPH, more upside follow through with an explosive move all the way up to 31.17. Backed off to 30.10 up 8.45. That was still 39%. And one of the biggest volumes I've ever seen in a stock, $33.8 million, not a billion shares. Top of the channel, long-term channels here. So this may be blow-off time. They may need to back off, but certainly strong momentum. EVTC also popped and took out resistance to mid-range before backing off, but it was still up 437 or 14%, trading 1.8 million, the biggest volume in about 6 months. So for me, this has the energy and potential to get into the mid to high 40s. I'd be looking for that for starters, 40, 41, and 47 area. First Solar, we put a swing on it after it broke out, but it did pull back to the breakout point. Sometimes they do that with big volume and then come on again. Just don't let it get underneath 64, where the target is 75. iCAD, the swing from back in January when it was trading 3 3/4, has more than doubled, but backed off here, and then popped up through it slightly and backed off. Still, it was an engulfing bullish bar at 558,000 shares, the biggest volume in 6 weeks. Now looking for around 8.5, 9 zone. Kellogg with an important breakout today. This consumer products company exploded from there's your breakout. Gapped and ran, net up 541. That was about 2 points off the high, but nevertheless a strong move and a strong showing. Next key resistance would be somewhere up in this zone there. Looks to me right about there. So maybe we get to 67.8. MYGM with a monster day as they got insurance coverage from one of their major products. The stock exploded from United Health, actually. The stock exploded from under 29 to nearly 47. Huge move. Huge. And it closed at 45.01 up a mere 15.87 on almost 11 million, up 54%. It was the kind of day you see that triggers a lot of bigger moves. So for now, we'll watch to see if it gets to 49.50, the next resistance, and then maybe you can see something in the mid-50s. Neogenomics, a company I've been following for a long time. Very solid organization, really nice fundamentals, but technically, growth, look at that chart. It's at the top of the long-range channel, so there may be some pullback, or it's going to accelerate here and move out into the 30s and 40s. Proficient with a nice pop and breakout today. You can see the ascending wedge. The angle of ascent shows that this potential could take this one up a little bit higher towards 40. 38.7 and 92 today, and then we'll see if it consolidates or heads higher into the low 40s. Rubicon, what a move today. Right up to the top of its long-term channel. A lot of stocks are doing that, you notice? If it can consolidate in here, that'd be great, but if it moves, your next target is 12. And what a monster move in the last 5 days on SPWR. This solar stock went from 10 to 16. Today a breakaway gap and run all the way up to 1604 before settling back to 1452. Still, that was up 283 or 24% on a mere 23.5 million. That's the biggest volume I've ever seen in a stock. And so significant after it breaks out for it to get up there. Minor resistance, the next target, a little bit above where we are, And then we're looking up at about 20. So 17 3/4 and 20. Filaria, one of my old swings from back in here, still working, never broke support. And for me now, I'm going to have to take out that overshoot and call this the angle of ascent. And I think we're headed towards a minimum of about 10. Solar group being as strong as it is, Vivint Solar also popped and broke out today. The highest level of Vivint since 2015. At that point we reached about 10.5, that's my next target. Up about there. Strong momentum. And finally Zixi, an old swing of ours that popped out of here and ran up and formed another one, came to the top of the channel. And see what happens when you hit the top of the channel. We often see the bottom of the channel before it got so long. That wedge broke out and now it's coming on again. Should it get back above 990.10, which is the next target, we might see a retest of the 11 3/4 range, followed by 15. That's it for tonight, everybody. Have a good evening, and I'll talk to you on Saturday morning.